starting. This hangout on there is live. All right, so I recently published. I don't even know if it was a blog article. I just published some source code on Code Kata. Yo, I gotta take this phone call. Hold up. This is Scott speaking. How can I help you? No, it's not. Can I call you back in half an hour? All right. Yeah, thank you. Take care. Bye. Yeah. So, where am I at? Yeah, I just published some source code on my technical blog in which it was a code kata for a vending machine. This is my second time doing this vending machine code kata. I didn't even look at the first code kata that I wrote several months ago. I just said, well, I need to prepare for this interview. Oh, let me try to think in a functional mindset again. This is just more Cookie. Get off of me. It's more of just me trying to get my mind right. So my dog is come here. All right. So it's me trying to get my mind right. And so with that said, let me share my screen. Full screen share, and present to everybody. Present to this. Stop. Okay. Yeah. So with that said, where am I at? This was the. I guess I could go to. Can I do this right here? No. So let me see. This over here. Yeah. Over here. This is my blog, hence Scott Nimrod's blog. It says the latest one I just published was this F# revisiting the vending machine kata, right? And so I just published this when I was at Starbucks about half an hour ago. And this is pretty much the source code that I wrote. And I shall, someone's online right now. Hold up. Oh, how do I get back to my thing? Pablo, is that you?
Yes, sir.
Pablo, what's up? Hey.
What's going
on? Let me stop presenting. Yo, you had some feedback about my code. You did a code review without my permission.
Yeah, I knew this was coming.
So
it's all right.
You're asking me why I had declared some coins inside of a function?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like I haven't done functional in a long while. I was looking. I checked out F# like a couple of weeks ago because you keep like, mentioning it.
Yeah.
But I have no real experience like you, right? So
I don't have real experience either.
No, but you've used it more than I have, and I think you're a couple of miles ahead of me in that regard. But I have a pet peeve that whenever anybody defines like a constant in a code, even if it's like a kata or something that's not production code, even that if it's practice, it just pops out, right?
Your OCD takes over?
Yep.
Okay.
And I saw that, I'm like, why is the value of the currency right there, hard coded? Why is this code not handling other currency? Because you might have a vending machine in India, you might have a vending machine in China, you might have a vending machine in Mexico, and that sort of popped out. And again, it's not a criticism on my part towards your code, but
no, I get you.
It's one of those.
It's something worth identifying and pointing out so that people can learn from it, such as myself.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just like, I'm more of a web developer. I always put the configuration of everything, even my single scripts. I always have like a config file separate from the actual script, and it's an old habit now of removing configuration from everything. And I feel that the value of currency is it might not be totally configuration, but it should at least be on another file. I don't know. I think because functional is about keeping things pure, right? I feel the value of the currency there kind of makes it dirty.
So what's the this is a learning opportunity for me, right? So the more you teach me, the more I'm worth. So I'm not
for
hating
me
at
too,
all.
because I'm probably, I don't know, I feel like I'm in the wrong here a little bit, but I really want to figure it out. I want to.
Okay. Well, maybe you're on to something. So my first question is, what's the definition of currency?
All right. So in that regard, I mean monetary currency. Money. What we understand money. In programming terms, that's a can of worms, because a lot of people define it, as its own type. Other people define it as a decimal. I've seen people use
I agree with the first part.
strings, and yeah, I think it's its own type. Myself, I feel it's its own type, but I don't know how that translates into functional.
Well, I'm not dude. I think I'm a little bit advanced than novice when it comes to functional programming, but like I'm not the
Uh-huh.
technical authority. So like, don't take anything I say seriously at all.
Do I ever? I don't
Does
know.
anybody? Does my
No.
dog? No.
No.
So not to go too much off topic, but
Sure.
when I asked you what the definition of currency is, and you said that from what I captured, there's various interpretations, um, and you said some people believe that currency is a type, other people believe that currency is a decimal. My dog is attacking me. Hold up, let me throw my dog in my bedroom real fast. Hold up.
All right, no worries.
Jammy jams. So when you're saying like some people would define currency as a type, if we're talking about programming, other people would define it as a decimal, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I'm starting to, what I think, well, the way I program for the most part now is everything's a type, and I'm not talking about primitive. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about, well, I won't say everything, but most of the things are of specific types. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, first name and last name. What type would that be to you?
Depends on a lot of things. If it's a quick thing that I'm doing for like a small script, then it's just strings.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a real production application, at first I will consider it as part of the user. The user, what I call object, I guess. I'm just thinking objects right now.
Yeah, but
Um,
if it's a property of object, or if it's a member variable of object, what type is it? Usually, the way
uh,
that you've been programming, or the way you think other people have been programming, so the spotlight won't be on you.
oh, no. So everything is a string, right? So those two
Okay.
things are strings, because there's because names are just one of those things that you can never ever get right, and so you end up just letting people put everything into one field. Because not everybody has two last. I mean, I have two last names because I'm a baller, right? But people in the United States, they only have one last name. People in other places of the world, uh, they have a last name, but it's actually the convention is to use it before their first name. Like in Japanese, where they say first the last name and then the first name. So, so I tend to put everything, depending on the context of the application, I tend to put everything into just like one field and let it be.
So I'm trying to remember to look at people's comments as I live stream, and there's someone named DBS1UK that says an observation here, or they say an observation here. You're modeling acceptable physical coins rather than arbitrary amounts. Yes, I am.
Yep.
And I accept feedback.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point, because I mean, are you dealing with tangible things, or are you dealing with abstract things?
This vending machine is a specific vending machine. You can't put in Canadian dollars. You can't put in Mexican pesos. You can put in a nickel, a dime, and a quarter. And you can put in multiple nickels, multiple dimes, multiple quarters. And you can put in combinations of nickels, 3 dimes, 2 quarters, right? And so I know I'm responding to the statement that he made, or his comment, but going back to like, what is a name? And you said, well, it's a string because a name can be flexible and there could be 2 last names, etc. Recently, I have decided to adopt the implementation details of implementing a name as type name. So first name is not a string. First name is a first name. Last name is not a string. Last name is last name. And the thought process, and this might be like just over engineering, and maybe within object-oriented programming, maybe it is, but it's pretty simple. And I think if I got it right in functional programming. And so the reason why I want to really constrain the types from a name being of type string to a name being of type name is because I don't want within my domain logic to confuse arguments for various functions where it's expecting a name, right, like John or Susan, but it's actually receiving 28K9FZX322 as a string, right? And so again, this might be over engineering, but my thought process is to leverage the compiler as much as I can to enforce strictness. And that's all I'm doing. Now, in regards to what I was talking about earlier about the currency, this vending machine, and I'm open to feedback, right? But my thought process was like, this vending machine local to United States of America. I didn't really, I mean, I don't really have any requirements of what type of currency that it takes. It was more of me trying to think functional and saying this, thy vending machine shall accept these specific tokens, or AKA coins. And I'm explicitly specifying the type is coins, and using, you're going to hear this a lot when you get into functional programming, discriminated union, or discriminated union case value, or value case, whatever the terminology is, in which it can only be either a nickel, a dime, or a quarter. That's it. There's nothing else, or else absolutely nothing, which in this case would be an empty list. If you look at the implementation details of the functions that I wrote that deal with this coin type. So
yeah, no, I mean, so over-engineering, I don't think you're on the wrong path. You know, we always have we always have this urge of discovery. You know, am I doing this wrong? Can I do it better? Even if I add a little bit more code, will it work better in the future? I mean, I think that's perfectly fine, and it's actually something that I look for people. You know, when I want to work with somebody, I want to have somebody who explores things, right? Because you want to be.
You can pick who you work with?
Yeah, because I'm a consultant.
Oh, that's what's up. I'm a consultant, and I get stuck with people that aren't as motivated and don't really have standards at all. But okay, I'm listening. I'm listening.
No. But I mean, it's that you keep bringing that subject, and you brought it up with Terrence on the last episode, and Terrence, wow, he
drops knowledge, don't he?
Damn, yeah. and I think he gave you the answer, but I feel that you're still looking for that you know, fountain of youth kind of thing. You know, you're looking for that perfect answer, and there just isn't. You know, he gave you the best answer possible, and he hit the nail on the head. But coming back to discovering, to, you know, to figuring things out, you know, I do have a bit of.
You went out. You there? Microphone check.
I used to Lisp back in.
Can you back up 5 seconds? I didn't hear the last 5 seconds of what you said. And your image is still frozen.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. Your video went out, but I don't need the video. I still hear you.
Oh, it's my internet. You know, the internet hates my face. I uploaded a YouTube video the other day, and YouTube declined it. It said, "You're too ugly for this."
Wow. One quick insert is the same person that's viewing our conversation, this DBS1 UK. He provided another comment saying, another way of avoiding primitives further is to consider using units of measure, returning a decimal of USD from values of and cost of. Yeah, so he's giving me some feedback. And yeah, I'm familiar with that. I wasn't thinking about it when I was doing this kata. What he's talking about is, hey, Pablo, you still hear me?
Yeah.
All right, so not to get too far off track, but there's this amazing feature in F# called units of measure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if it was inspired by this one event, but supposedly, I think like maybe a decade or more ago, NASA had, I don't know if it was NASA, I thought it was NASA, one of these space agencies had sent out, they sent out another rover or something similar to it to Mars, right? And so one of the biggest challenges is, how do you drop a rover, you know, hundreds or thousands of miles, maybe it's hundreds of miles.
I saw that.
Yeah. And so it ended up, to make a long story short, just crashing onto the surface of Mars. And so I think what they had, what resulted from their investigation was that there was inconsistency with the units that were used in their calculations of how to deploy this rover onto the surface. And so like one was using, I think, the American standard, where another team on the same project was using like the metric system.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this feature within F# called units of measure, where the the compiler will let you know, like you can use ints or floats or any type of type, but the compiler will let you know when there's a misuse of units when you're trying to leverage this. There's a lot easier way for someone else to say what I attempted to say. But all right,
No, no, I
I'm
understood
responding
it.
to his comment in which he's saying, hey, you could consider using units of measure
Yeah.
to dictate U.S. currency versus British pounds versus Mexican pesos, etc.
No, no,
So
he's right, and I just think it boils down that to the fact that this was a very loose exercise, right? The
yeah, yeah.
requirements were not well defined, but I always, even when doing this kind of exercises, I really like to nail down my requirements, because in tougher, that's the hardest part. Figuring out requirements, figuring out what you're going to leave out and what you're going to include. So I just challenge you to take what you did
Okay.
and provide requirements for it, and say, I'm going to build a vending machine for Costco. And
Okay.
so so that will give you a lot of that will give you a lot of context to the code that you're writing, because right now you're probably thinking of of types. I'm doing this way, that way, but and it helps your skills. But if Costco actually hires you to write code for the vending machines, what you're doing right now, I don't feel like it ports over, because you don't have the you don't have requirements. You don't have a set of boundaries to work within, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it might help you the same way that it has helped me to work with requirements, even though I'm doing exercises, right?
So when you're doing Code Katas, like I guess my question to you is, let me return back to us. How do I do this? Oh, how
You,
do I do this?
you
Let
could
me
you could you
stop
could
presenting. All right. So do you do Code Katas?
I do them,
All
but
right.
not in the traditional way that you're doing them.
Okay. Um, because for me, and I didn't start doing Code Katas until I started really getting serious about functional programming. Like I really wanted to understand how this is done because it's a complete paradigm shift, right? To
Yeah.
think functional or whatever.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so the intent for me isn't really on real world exercises than it is really to try to always think about muscle memory of
Yeah.
all right, what are the building blocks of functional programming? Whenever I do something functional, what what is it usually, or what should I strongly consider when trying to transform data? All right, the three things that I'm aware of that are the main building blocks are filter, map, and reduce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, with reduce, you can use fold interchangeably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Filter, map, are the main functions to transform data. And so I'm saying all this because my intent, although I appreciate what you're saying, and I think it's going to make it more challenging and actually extend the code kata from all right. First step is make this work. Second step is what if we didn't know what the type of currency we're using really is? What if attempt to do this the same kata refactor it such that um, data is actually driving this program from some external file. So instead
Mm-hmm.
of U.S. currency, we're going to actually pull from some external data source, and it could be It could be pesos, it could be pounds, etc. How would
So,
you handle that? I would treat that as a separate kata.
so have you ever done martial arts?
My father was a martial arts, but I never took formal training. He would just put me in the living room. He would teach me how to like shatter people's kneecaps and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
So, so I did martial arts as a teenager. I did Taekwondo. And I remember this. I mean, this is something that helped me code. And I ported it over to the katas. Like when I would do a kata in Taekwondo, it's called a form. I used to do it just for the movements, right? If I'm going to do block, if I'm going to do this. But my teacher, my instructor, he said, no, you can't just punch the air. You have to actually fight. Doesn't matter if there's nobody there to hit. You have to actually fight. And I didn't get it at first, but as I kept practicing, I understood it, and my movements become so much better, and I became a better fighter, because Taekwondo is something that you fight at the Olympic level, right? And so in code, you know, you're not just doing the kata to create muscle memory to get like stuff going. You want to actually punch something. You know, you want to actually code against requirements.
Well, that's what a real project is for. So when I actually build a Android app or some WPF app, isn't that me punching
No,
something?
no, but a kata is practice.
Yeah, but I'm saying the home project, that's
No, no,
also practice. Okay, I'm
but
listening. I'm listening.
no. What I'm saying is that if you're going to practice, try to always practice with a purpose,
Okay.
because otherwise you're going to have two sets of, you know, two separate types of practices. You know, am I going to practice punching the air, or I'm going to practice defending myself? You know, like you always aim to defend yourself. You always aim to punch the other guy out and to, you know, figure out a way how to get out of the situation. Same way with code. You don't code to write code. You write, you know, you write code to solve a problem. So that's why I told you, you know, maybe try and build a Costco vending machine, which will turn out to be absolutely difficult, because vending machines are one of the most complex things out there, and they're amazing machines. And it will push you. You will say, damn it, you know, this is not working. This is taking way too long. I'm getting bored.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many edge cases with the real machine, like the power going out in the middle of a transaction of
Or the
depositing coins.
bottle, you
What
know.
happens when the machine comes back on, is plugged back in? Should it maintain memory? Like, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, um, it's gonna take a bit longer, and I'm just saying, try it out, because it, you know, that has worked for me, and maybe it will work for you. Maybe not. Maybe you want to keep doing the way you're doing it, which is fine. I'm not criticizing it, and you discover something that fits your style of thinking better, right? But try it out, because it gives practice, giving practice a purpose. It just totally changes the game. I mean, I'm a runner, and if I go to the park, whenever I go to the park to jog or to run, if I don't do it with the purpose of doing a 5K or a 10K, I feel like I'm simply jumping around and doing nothing, right?
Yep, that's me.
Yeah, I need to
I
have
mean,
like
literally,
that.
when I go running, I'll knock off like a mile or a mile and a half. And I'm like, oh, I'm done. And I'll do that for like 6 months straight. Knowing good and well I could go 3 miles, but it's like, yeah, if you're not really pushing your limits, then you're not really growing. You're just maintaining, I guess. Right?
Yeah. Because the act of practice is to perfect, you know, the act of doing, right? It's not simply doing things because I'm bored or I want to practice, right? It's actually, you know, the art of doing. So if you want to perfect the art of doing, in my head, you know, and this is like what I've learned, you want to try and practice as closely as possible as the real thing. You know, you want to, you know,
No,
guess that's,
I get what you're saying.
yeah. Yeah,
So
and I hope Terrence agrees with me.
I'll send one of us will send him a tweet for him to view this, and
Yeah,
I'm curious what his thoughts are.
yeah, me too, me too. So I gotta drop out because I
Okay.
gotta finish some stuff. But hey, man, I'm looking forward to another one of these. You know, I always enjoy it. I think you have really great stuff going on. I'd like for you to reply to my to the document that I sent you, all that stuff, the Google document.
Okay.
I'd like for you
I
to
got to
reply
dig
to
that
that.
up.
Yeah, yeah, because I think there's value there for you. You know, I think there's something good there. So I'll talk to you later,
Was
and
that sent to
you
my
know,
Gmail or was that?
I
I'll talk
sent
to you offline
DM,
about
ADM. So I mean, I appreciate you taking the time to listen me out, and you know, it's great to see you again.
it. Yeah, likewise. We got to catch up. This is really interesting. I wasn't expecting this type of conversation.
Me neither.
So,
All right, dude.
all right,
Take care.
Pablo. That's what's
Bye.
up. Adios. Bye. And he drops off, and I think like before he left, I was going over this code. I got some feedback from someone that's observing this online, and he said, responding to the problem of the constants living around the code. Well, they're not constants though. They're hard coded, but I mean they're inside the actual function, which I think is okay. I think it's okay, based on the context of this being a vending machine that is based on U.S. currency. But anyway, he says, response to the problem of constants living around the code, would it be helpful to have the value of function written as a member of coin? And yeah, I think it would. Actually, in the last kata that I did about this vending machine that I did like probably 4 months ago, I actually refactored it such that the value of was actually a member of the record. What coin is a discriminated union though. I guess you can have you could attach a function or a method to a discriminated union. I think you could do that. I know you could do that with a record, obviously. Uh, how would I do that with the discriminated union? So, like these are the products. I'm not sure how to do this. I want to say, could I do like this dot cost of, and then how would I do this? Like that? And just to satisfy, yeah, I got to figure out how to. I'm almost confident I could add or attach a method or a function to a discriminated union. I just got to figure out, oh, I got to do member in front of this, right? Member. Is that happy? Yeah, that's happy. And so then I could probably say, I could probably say, how would I do this? I would definitely indent, and I'll say this dot, what comes up? Next question is, yeah, I'm probably going to ask this on Stack Overflow. If I can attach it to this product discriminated union. Let me check my YouTube. It says member this dot foo equals match this with. Well, on my discriminated union. Oh, okay. I think I got it. So you could say, okay. So you're saying do this. You're saying match. Yeah, because this is one of the the values, the union case values. So I could say match this with, and then I just say chips, and then say, yeah, I could do this right here. Oh, you're so smart. Thank you. Um, uh, 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 so I could probably do that. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. All right. And then maybe I could probably do this, say function, and get rid of that match this with. Well, let me do that. Ah, oh, thank you, DBS1 UK. It says, wrap your cases on a new line. Can't actually see your. Oh, shoot, my bad. Okay, hold up. Um, how do I show my screen to you? My bad. Let me show my screen. And present to everyone. Oh, I didn't know that. My fault. Yeah, so this is what I did up here. So I already had the product discriminated union, and then I pretty much took this function that was already here. I copied and pasted it up here. And then instead of having a match with, I just put the function right here, right? That will basically translate to the same thing. And now we have that. So I think that's what you were suggesting. And you can see my screen now, right? And I'll wait for you to respond if you respond. But yeah, that's what's up. I could try to test that out. I could comment out this cost stuff, and then I could say this product dot cost. Oh shoot! Hold up. Products. Really? I gotta do this. And then hopefully I can say product dot cost of, and then hopefully yeah. All right. Same thing down here. Product dot cost of, shoot. Yo, you know what happens though is I'm curious what your thoughts are, because this is what happens when I use a member method. Yeah, I think it would be called a method, right? When I use a member method instead of a completely separate function, is now I'm realizing that these parameters of my functions are no longer generic. Now I have to explicitly say that this is a product. So let me go back to my comments. I'm not sure if I'm replacing generic parameters with, I don't know. I don't know if the cohesion is the right word. With a more logical representation or organization of of behavior that should probably be attached to data. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm okay with either one, but I do think that in this case, this record, or this discriminated union for coins, it probably does make sense for it to have an attached method called cost of, at even though it is at the expense of my functions no longer having a generic parameter. Now it has to be explicit that this is coin. So that's what I observed. And let me get this whole thing to compile again. Product dot cost of products, cost of, and why isn't that working? This cost of should return a decimal. But that says it returns a function. Oh, hell's bells. What else do I need to do? All right, I'll figure that out later. But you say otherwise the signature will be unit and then produce or product and then decimal instead of decimal. Yeah, I have to like change the function to match. Okay. Match this with that right there. And everything appears to be happy. Let me see if my test still pass. I hope my test still pass. I hope my test still pass. And my test still pass. Good looking out. All right. I have to research why I wasn't allowed to do the function part. But yeah, good stuff. Yo, you give me your thumbs up. When are we going to record a conversation on here? Like, I understand based on your username, it looks like you want to be anonymous. But I appreciate you helping me. And is there any other feedback you have about the code that I wrote? You just helped me refactor of having an independent function called cost of to actually attaching that as a method to this discriminated union type. Is there anything else that jumps out at you? I guess the same thing can be done for this value of too, right? So for this quarter diamond nickel, I could do this. I could use the same. I could apply the same thing, which I'll do that. I guess I'll do it now. So I could say number, and then this dot value of, and then I could copy paste this, and I say match this with, and then paste that in here. And that looks happy. And I could delete that. And then, yeah. So that would be quarter dot value of, yeah. And I just would basically be doing that. Okay. Same thing here. Dime dot value of, dime dot value of, nickel dot value of, nickel dot value of, coin up here dot value of, and it's no longer generic up here. How do I do that? How do I cast this? Do I do like something like this? Coin like that? Can I do that? No. Yeah, so I got to research that part, how to make this work. But let me see if you're still online. No comment about current video, but the video with Tony was very good. Hit you up on Twitter. Is this your name on Twitter? This DBS1UK? I guess I'll find out when I search for you. All right, well, good stuff. I'm about to get off. I wish I could figure out how to resolve this right here. If you're still watching, this coin is generic. Um, yeah, it's generic, but I want to be able to cast it to this type coin up here so it gets recognized. I'm not, I'm not sure how to do that though. Well, I guess I could maybe I could do it up here. Say coin list. Would that work? Mm, well, that part works. Value of all right, cool. I got that done. And everything passes. That's what's up. So yeah, it looks like he left. Thanks for the session. Thank you. And I am returning back to me. And that's it. So Pablo came on as I was going over this code kata that I wrote. He contributed value to me by saying, yo, you should like have some specs to really feel the pain of what a kata is meant to bring. And I think I agree with him. It's just, being in my comfort zone. But I think what he said makes sense. This, this, oh, JJ Smith said, thanks for the session. Yeah. Thanks for I don't know, subscribing. Thanks for the props. And I'm babbling right now, so I think that's a good sign for me to get off of here. But in conclusion, this video is meant to support a code kata that I wrote. I'm going to actually update the 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 article on my technical blog, bizmonger.wordpress.com, with this video that's going to sit on top of the actual source code that's on that particular article that I wrote for a vending machine. And this is in preparation for me. This is in preparation for a technical interview that I have that's F# based. So I want to be gainfully employed writing out F#, which honestly I'm very insecure about. But this is me at least trying to make something happen. And so I appreciate all the encouragement that people have given me. That's what's up. So thanks everybody. I appreciate it. And that's what's up. I like interacting with y'all. So I'm terminating it. If you want me to have a conversation with you, reach out to me. I'm Bizmonger on Twitter. So send me a message. I appreciate everything. I'm out. 3, 2, 1. Adios.